What's up, guys? Music Fan here. How you guys doing? This is a very belated video. I was supposed to have done this video around Christmas time, but because of internet issues and internet problems, I couldn't upload this video on time on the actual Christmas day. So, considering that this is still somewhat, or at least in some kind of variation of the Christmas holiday, I'm going to get to this very belated video. This is very late. This is very overdue. I clearly know that, but in the spirit of this post-Christmas season, then definitely before it gets far too long, I will do this video right now. And also because I just don't want to let go of Christmas. Christmas is just so amazing and so awesome. Like, I just don't want to let it go. If every day was Christmas, I would be like the happiest guy on the face of the planet. Like, seriously. So for this particular review, especially since this has now become Mr. Music Fan tradition, I will review the Trans-Siberian Orchestra's second studio release, the Christmas Attic release, Attic, not Addict, released in 1998. This is the second album from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra band, and is the second album from the band. Okay, did I say that already? Okay, stop it. So clearly, when the first album, Christmas Eve and Other Stories, like, is definitely like the best album, at least for in my personal opinion, it's their best work. This album is clearly a continuation of that theme, except with a much different story. You guys are gonna have to look up the story yourselves on the band's website and the lyric website, because I cannot explain everything on here. But for the bigger part, for like the bigger overall picture, the plot for this album seems to revolve around an angel that's been sent by God to bring back a gift from the human world, not so much a gift from the heavenly stores of treasures or anything, and he has to come back from I'm not explaining the concept properly, but as much as I know, the angel then hears a little girl who is in deep prayer because some of her friends tell her that Christmas is a fabrication. It's a stuff that's made up of by the adults just to sell more merchandise for the sake of the money. Oh, really? That's kind of true in a way, but I digress. And basically, the girl wants to believe in Christmas, so she goes up. She finds in the attic a treasure box full of letters by various other people of Christmas past who have written letters and have left it there, each with their own magical variation of their take on Christmas. And I don't want to give so much the ending away. There really isn't much to say, but she eventually finds out that Christmas is it. Even though there's that level of Christmas of being a corporate fabrication, there still is that magical element, that the joy, just the ecstatic joy that Christmas can bring to anyone. Just the healing thing that a holiday like Christmas, minus the corporate version of it, can really bring to people. And I think she ends up realizing that. But other than that, this is a very long-winded concept, so I'm not going to explain all to you guys. Look it up for yourselves on the description box below on the Trans-Siberian, the TSO's website. But despite how long-winded it is, like, each of these songs focuses on every little detail, every little letter of that particular box that's part of the story. And I have been to say, this is a really fascinating album to listen to. Kind of long-winded, mind you, but very fascinating. There's a little bit of a deviation from Christmas Eve and Other Stories, where that song took complete stock of Christmas traditional music and is entirely of the metal genre, the Christmas holiday metal genre. This one is of the same vein as the last record, except they try a little differing things here now and there. There's a little bit, like a little tint more, little bit emphasis on jazz. There are like maybe two or three songs off this record that is more emphasized on jazz, like the New Jack Swing type of sound. And you got your typical little acoustic ballads on here. You got your big rockers on here, big bright light holiday rockers also on this album. You got your little bit of ballads here too. And overall, like there's a much lesser presence of classic holiday themed Christmas music, and it seems to more revolve around the story itself than as opposed to the last album where it just kind of seemed like an equilibrium kind of thing. Like it was the story, and then there was the other songs that took the traditional Christmas classics and poems and hymns, and that they took it and did something completely different with it. Whereas with this album, it kind of seems a little bit less so, but still there's still a big presence of holiday theme, of the Christmas spirit theme, that very otherworldly side of Christmas that seems to be of magic and of wonder and of just complete epic awesomeness that whichever angle you come at, it just seems to kind of take your breath away, and it's like it's ecstatic. It's just very much like this album in a way. Like, I mean, this album takes stock of the story itself, and just kind of makes all the other songs like put in conformity with the others. And it's a pretty awesome album, I have to say. I wouldn't say it's nearly as memorable musically though as the last album. The last album had a lot of great Christmas songs, which what did indeed stick in your head. This one, not so much, I would have to say. Like the rest of these songs take more presence in the story than actually the music particularly. But for the most part, the music is still pretty awesome. It is still pretty ripping, and there's a lot of great rock songs here, great acoustic songs here, great holiday theme songs here. All the while, lyrically, they tell the story. And lyrically, I have to say, at least at this point, because I'm not that familiar with the rest of their catalog, but right now, till technically 2013, but it says 2014 now. But speaking strictly to 2013, for me right now, at least, this is their best lyrical album to date. It is their best story to date, I would happen to say. As long-winded and as pretty big as this particular story is, like I find it interesting that this story of this little girl who is kind of like in a connection with the angel, and the angel trying to show her the way to these letters that she finds, and she is helped in repairing that disenchantment that those friends of hers having to tell her that Christmas is just a fake ploy by the corporate a-holes. And in some ways that's kind of true, but in another way there is that other more ecstatic wow side to Christmas that just you can't explain it. Not even corporate CEOs can't explain Christmas. But I digress. Maybe they can, maybe some of them can, but anyway, I'm getting off topic. But anyways, like for me, this is personally my favorite TSO album with the lyrics, with the concept and the story. It is very interesting. It is a very interesting album to hear lyrically. There's a lot of deep stuff on here lyrically. There's a lot of beautiful songs here. Almost if you read them without the music, they kind of come out as a way of poetic, in a way, and I think that's really wonderful. Songs like what was that song again? Christmas in the Air, The World That She Sees. What else is on here? An Angel's Share, Dream Child. Like the lyrics to those songs are just, I happen to say, really beautiful, and the music definitely really accompanies them really well. Personally, my favorite song here, without any shred of a doubt whatsoever, would happen to be Christmas Canon. This song is extremely popular, one of their most popular songs of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You hear it all the time in Christmas time. That soft, genuine children's choir. They just create this really innocent air in the atmosphere whenever you hear this song, and the piano and just like the orchestra going along with them. Like I mean, you guys heard it before. It is a classic. It is indeed a very modern Christmas classic, and it is very beautiful. If there's two words I can use to describe this song, it would happen to be innocent and very magical. Like, this song is just very innocently magical, and I can't say much of enough. Look it up for yourselves if in case you haven't heard this song. Also, a bit of a statistical note. It is a variation of Johann Pachelbel's Canon in D major, and of course that's a popular piece. Everyone has copied off of that very brilliantly. I have Brian Eno in the mind when I think of that. But Christmas Canon is definitely fantastic. It's a beautiful song. Least favorite song, I don't know which of these songs I would consider my least favorite, actually. I don't know. Like, of course, that's not to say that I don't have any least favorite songs here. I just, for the moment, I can't remember which of these are here, because I'm not, to be honest, I'm not that familiar with this record. I only heard it once through just now, actually. But it was enough to kind of like leave an impression on me of the story, at least, which is just really amazing. Yeah, I don't want to leave any pauses here, but at the moment I don't have a least favorite. When I do come up with a least favorite, I will put a annotation on the video itself, and then you guys see like if I do happen to come up with a least favorite song. But for right now, I don't have any least favorites. So anyway, 4-point grading system for this album, for the Christmas Attic. Music originality. This album's originality, I mean, is generally the same as Christmas Eve and Other Stories. So there's not much to say on the originality in terms of, because it's simply a continuation, not so much a sequel, but it's a continuation musically and lyrically. Like, it's the second album in the TSO's Christmas trilogy, along with the other one. I think it's the fourth album, The Lost Christmas. That's for 2015 or 16, I think. But music originality, it has a pretty decent, really great music originality. It does still deviate from, no, not deviate. It still takes off from the last album, but they do it well, to a point that it doesn't come off too stale or too repetitive. So I'll give this one like a 4.5 out of 5. A little bit less so than the last album, but the songs here are good, and the lyrical story is, of course, awesome. Songwriting, the lyrics, of course, I say again, it is my favorite lyrical album from TSO, at least for right now. Maybe the future albums will impress me a little bit more, but until then, I will give the lyrical content of this album a 5. Yeah, there, a 5. Likability, I think some of these songs I will definitely listen to, Christmas Canon especially. This isn't to say that this album is not memorable, or just because it's not memorable, then that means it's bad. This is by no means a bad album in any case. It's just not as memorable as Christmas Eve and Other Stories, because a lot of these songs takes more of a presence around the story than as opposed to the story and the music being the main focus. But this is not to expect the Trans-Siberian Orchestra of making the same exact Christmas Eve and Other Stories every single album. It's still a hit and miss, but these songs I will definitely listen to for quite some time. Definitely. So the likability gets a decent 4. It's really good, really excellent. Yeah. As for the Christmas Attic, I keep confusing between saying the Christmas Attic, as if like, the upstairs attic, and Christmas Addict, like someone who's literally obsessed with Christmas. I get those words mixed up, so sorry. Um, the album as a whole, again, it's not nearly as memorable musically as Christmas Eve and Other Stories. But that being said, it still does not deserve to be considered their worst album. And but on its own particular merit, like this album is indeed still great. It is still indeed an awesome TSO album. It has great music, a really great conceptual story, and it is in Christmas Canon. It is extremely powerful. It's an extremely powerful album. Some of the songs here are rocking. There's some jazz, some ballads, some folksy stuff here and there. But overall, while it's not as memorable or as well for me, not as big of an album as the first album, it still kind of ranks up a notch below there. But it still ranks up, pretty much with that album. And so I will give this album a 4.5 out of 5. Essentially, again, not my favorite of the albums, but it is still indeed a good album. It is still a really great second album from the TSO. And clearly, with Christmas Canon, this is also an album that, while not as popular as Christmas Eve and Other Stories, it definitely will be remembered very fondly, I guess. And also, as a bit of a trivia thing, I think, if I read correctly, this past December was the last ever performance of this very album. At least I think, at least until someone corrects me on that. But I heard that it will be the last live performance of this album live from the TSO, and I'm kind of sad that I never got to see it, But I hope that the people who did go into it really enjoyed it, because I'm sure it must have been a big spectacle, especially with Christmas Canon. Because oh boy, Christmas Canon, beautiful. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the Christmas Attic by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Leave your comments in the comment sections below. Do you love this album? Do you hate it? Why? And if you like my videos, rate, comment, and subscribe on the channel. And this has been a very belated but still very heartfelt, from me to you, Christmas video, Christmas theme video. Sorry this video was late, but I had to take the time now to do this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. Kind of a late Christmas gift, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Christmas Addict. The Christmas Attic. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Mr. Music Fan. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. See you next year. Take care, guys.